Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fleetway Sonic Experience. And folks, I'm really excited for this episode, I'm not gonna lie, because what we've got lined up for you today, kid you not, probably the best stuff yet as we've seen so far. As the comics, I've said it before with every single intro, it's a little middling, it's good for what it is, I'd like to see more though. Folks, we're finally seeing more. We're finally in the cooking territory, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, the main core story that we get to see today is honestly pretty fucking fantastic. It really feels like they are starting to develop some of the core concepts and ideas that they want to take with Fleetway Sonic, and I really enjoy it. The C&D stories, though, I feel pretty mixed about them, but I know Alberto feels differently, so we'll come to that bridge when we get to it. However, that being said, the main story stuff is a fucking treat, and we are really excited to talk about it.
So, folks, without further ado, Sonic the Comic, issue 59. Our first story, as always, Kitching and Elsing brings it to us. We open on the outskirts of the Metropolis Zone. The Freedom Fighters have stationed themselves outside, protecting the caravan with a stasis field. Porker asking Kentobor if he's still detecting the signal, and he still is. The Badnik they detected is definitely still around here somewhere. So Sonic, as usual, takes the lead, telling everyone there's no telling what Robotnik came up with this time. And they come up across a Badnik, which apparently is called Mr. Blobnik, the design of which feels a little offensive, if I say so.
This is a certified British moment, if there ever was one.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail as to how, but just take my word for it. And even Sonic is a little taken aback. I can't believe Robotnik came up with this thing. The guy's totally flipped over. So, does a spin attack. It's an easy takeout. And the rest of the Freedom Fighters are kind of just, they're as bewildered as we are, I think. But meanwhile, in the Citadel, Robotnik, as usual, threatening Grimer that this Badnik better work, but he assures the Master that he can't fail. Until a red energy window appears before them. Stepping out of it is one of the Metallix drones, saying that the Brotherhood have need of Grimer, grabbing him and pulling him through despite Robotnik calling to the Metallix and is ignored. So we kind of just went from 0 to 100 basically instantly.
So remember when we said the Brotherhood of Metallix would start becoming a part of the comic? Well, now that's happening right now, so lock the fuck in.
This makes Robotnik stop for a second. He left the Metallix to their own devices so they could develop Badnik versions of Sonic. If no longer under my control, they could be capable of anything. Meanwhile, Sonic is still fighting this Blobnik, attacking with bubbles and how to shoot a laser from his umbrella, but realizes it has no batteries. And he's about to put some in until Sonic has just had enough and makes a tornado in place to scrap the thing. Meanwhile, in the special zone, Grimer has been brought to the Emperor Metallix, wondering how it became like this. This whole situation was left to create the ultimate Sonic Badnik, but the Emperor says conditions have changed and presents to them their new plan. On their OmniViewer copy, it displays the Miracle Planet, originally the power source for the original Metallix, and now Grimer will be assisting the Brotherhood in getting to it, which of course, he goes along with. Has no other choice. Back in Metropolis, Sonic fully scraps the Blobnik. I think he took a little too long doing so, but I digress. Saves the Mobian powering it, and inadvertently Sonic gets trapped in one of the bubbles. The head of the Blobnik is independently powered. Jets up, collects Sonic as his prisoner. A very embarrassing move. Sonic is now brought to Robotnik, is expecting to be tortured, but clear flip on the situation. Robotnik is actually showing concern on his face and says plainly, Sonic, I'm just gonna let you go. Wait, what? What kind of trick is this? No trick, Sonic. We must combine our forces. There is an enemy so dangerous, it threatens to destroy us both. And if we fail, the Brotherhood of Metallix will destroy Mobius.
That's our cold open. Which is pretty fucking good. There is a lot to come from this. I think the thing I like most is how clearly we have all these little elements that are like mixing together from the classic games into a really unique plotline.
And hey, look, is this one of the first instances of the Sonic Robotnik team up in like a serious situation? I think it might be, folks. I think it might be. Wait, hold on a second, actually. It's insane how, like, ahead of everything Fleetway is when you really think about it. It gave us the first, like, solo focus on Amy. Probably the first instance of Robotnik team up. A lot of elements that are still, like, ingrained into Sonic today are first seen in Fleetway Sonic. You know what? Let's just leave it at that, folks. Got a lot of the comic to cover. Let's leave it at that. You guys can sit on that. We'll move on to our next Sonic-focused story, our Story C, with writing and art both done by Nigel Kitching. And this is an interesting one, folks, because we've got like a 2-for-1 special here, focusing on both Tails and Knuckles.
This is the weirdest duo that you can possibly put together. So, like, there isn't that much official media where the two of these characters are on their own, so this just exists. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's fucking weird that someone was like, yeah, put Tails and Knuckles together, why not?
So, we focus on Knuckles in the beginning, the Emerald Chamber of the Floating Island. The Chaos Emerald's back at full power, and Knuckles working to get all the ancient technology systems back online, until he hears an alarm blare. It was detecting an energy surge at Mushroom Hill. So now he thinks the Mushroom Hill people could be in danger, and goes to the Zoom Tube direct line, and comes to see the place perfectly peaceful. But he turns around to the other side of the mountain and sees some green energy poking around the hillside. And when he looks, he sees its Tails being led into a green portal. He doesn't understand why he's here, but assumes he's being kidnapped. Which, like, I guess in a way, he's like 30% correct about that. But without thinking, Knuckles leaps to attack the shaman to save Tails, and ends up being dragged to the other side of the portal with the two of them. And Knuckles is like about to like beat the ever-living hell out of him, wondering what the place he was brought to is, until the shaman tells him to relax. Right now you're in the nameless zone, and I was summoning our champion, Miles Prower. We are in his need. Knuckles does not know who this Miles Prower is, still ready to fight, but Tails is like, no, they're talking about me, man. Tails is about to make introductions, but Warple here assumes Knuckles is the guy Tails is talking about in the letters back home, his sidekick, Sonic.
Wow, I can't believe Blue Sonic was real this whole time. Sorry, Blue Knuckles. Or Red Sonic, one might even say.
What the hell? What the hell, man?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So Knuckles is a little bewildered that Tails says Sonic is helping him save Mobius, but Tails is like, no, man, it's not like that. But he tries to explain, but Warple interrupts him, saying, we were brought here to begin with. The two Enchanter Kings have been kidnapped by Trog, and they sent Tails' old ally, Errol, after him, and Knuckles assumes he never came back. But the shaman says, no, he did come back, actually. Came back a little different. And they turn around, seeing Errol having cursed in the land beyond, being turned into a gargoyle. Okay, then. Okay.
All right. I guess we'll roll with it. Okay. All right, now we're getting to the story D, where I'm not gonna lie, y'all.
It's a little bit of a sleeper, unfortunately.
I'm like honk shoeing out the ass. I do not like the direction some of these story Ds take. So, like, I want to clarify that, like, I don't mind more Sonic characters getting introduced that are comic original. They gotta have some sauce. These guys don't have sauce, man. They're just boring.
So for context, this is another like Cam and Bert focused story. So that's why it's like this. I will say though, this is written by Mark Isles, and I think I've like come together with a little bit of a theory as to why like this stuff is not so great here. Part of it I think has to do with the fact that Nigel Kitching, as we see it right now, he's clearly putting in a lot of work and effort to create a continuity, at least with his writing. And as for the other writers like Lou Stringer, I think he is trying to like keep to Nigel's continuity, but not really like he's putting in 70% of the effort. Whereas with Isles, he just does not follow the story at all. He's just like saying, yo, like you're telling me to write Sonic stories? Here you go.
Here's your Bert and Cam story, bro. Enjoy. And it's like, okay, I guess. Whatever. Anyways, let's get through this.
Isles writing, Hadley and Burns doing the art. Sonic and Tails are seen at Hilltop Zone. Sonic brings a fire extinguisher to handle a fire-breathing Badnik. It's taken out, frees the Flicky inside. Whoop-de-doo. Sonic leaves, and now the Badnik Army Repair functionaries arrive on the scene to clean up. Cam and Bert just back at it at their job. They wonder how the boss is going to take all this bad news until suddenly Robotnik comes in from the Eggmobile. And Cam and Bert kind of wonder how odd it is that Sonic seems to always be able to know where Badniks are, what weaknesses they have, and what he can do to destroy them. And Robotnik kind of thinks the exact same thing. Finish cleaning and report back to me. I have an idea. So some time passes, Cam and Bert come back to Robotnik and informs them of his plan. They are now going to transport Badniks from Palm Tree Padnik into Green Hill and swap them around. The rebels can be confused and turn Green Hill into an impenetrable fortress, and when Sonic comes in expending Green Hill Badniks, he's not going to know what hit him. So while Cam and Bert revere Robotnik and his genius, he clearly doesn't know how hard it is to capture live Badniks. They take their Barfmobile, attach it to an Arc Pod, and they're on their way to the Miracle Planet, saying it always appears on the last month of the year. Upon landing, they're greeted by the hostile Badniks and have a bad feeling about what happens next. Alright, short and sweet, beginning of the story. I will say, though, at least that's that's kind of an interesting idea, although execution is a different story.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
But that is issue 59 done. Let's keep the ball rolling. Sonic the Comic, number 60, the big number 60. Kitching, Elson, and Burns. So Robotnik frees Sonic, thinking that this is all a trick, but Robotnik does double down on the danger we're facing. And Sonic does recall something about the Metallix having some kind of brotherhood. How many are there? I don't know, Robotnik says, but they took over my old Special Zone base, and they kidnapped Grimer just now. And Sonic just kind of laughs at Robotnik. You want me to go into the Special Zone to rescue your creepy sidekick? Yeah, dream on, Lard Bucket. Don't you understand, you insufferable incompetent? Grimer created the Metallix program. If they have him, he may find a way to make them unstoppable. Okay, good lore bit. So Grimer is the one responsible for all this shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's Snively adjacent, except he actually is intelligent, so it makes sense. Also, by the way, dude, like, Grimer is so funny. Like, we really are just, like, casually accepted this fucking green goblin-looking motherfucker as Eggman's underling. Like, no relation to the Sonic lore, no nothing, 0 feats, 0 minutes, 0 accomplishments. He's just this guy who's just there doing scientist shit. Crazy, by the way. You know that this motherfucker also has more human scientists working under him, which is even funnier to me.
Yeah, it always just kind of brings him under the fact of just sort of like, so there are humans that exist on Mobius in this universe. Where the fuck are they? Where are they coming from?
Dog, that's a great question. I couldn't even tell you.
I mean, look, that's a very easy road to explore some stuff, but like, I'm giving it like a 40% chance that we never see it. That's just
we are absolutely never going to see it. Like, what are you talking about? It's not going to happen.
Well, anyway, the Brotherhood have sealed off all entrances to the Special Zone, except for this one star post here. So that's why he needs Sonic. And he takes off, prepared to work around it, but if it turns out to be all a trick, I will be back. And Sonic makes his way to the Special Zone. Never really a big fan of it, but does get on the way to his old base. And Sonic makes his way inside the base via the hole the Chaotix made when they broke in. And it does seem like a fight broke out in here, but otherwise seems deserted. He's digging around the fortress, no signs of activity. Whatever the Metallix were up to, it seems like they were finished. And Sonic finds his way to a factory line, finding the last 4 Metallix with the device Grimer was forced to make of them. And the Emperor warns Grimer, if the Alpha device fails, we will find you. As the Emperor leaves through their Omniviewer for the Miracle Planet, farewell, Grimer. And he shouts after the Emperor, fearing being abandoned in the Special Zone, as Sonic jumps down, fearing the worst if the Metallix use whatever it is that Grimer made for them, and leads Sonic to snatch the Alpha device from the Emperor and triggers their fight response. He's punched out by one Metallix, fired upon by another, and Sonic uses one of the Metallix as a body shield for the blast, and that one is scrapped in the process. Sonic, that's hard as hell, don't get me wrong, but like, Jesus Christ, man. Sonic takes a swipe from another Metallix, and Sonic beats that one with the pole.
Dude said, I'm using this bad.
this Sonic's kind of out for blood. Like, good lord.
I mean, it makes the next line coming up pretty ironic when you say that. So basically, Sonic's got the device as the Metal Sonic Emperor holds Grimer and says, you will give the alpha device to me, Sonic. If you fail to obey at once, I will destroy this creature. Ha! Grimer's the enemy, pal. He spends his time cooking up crazy badniks to try and kill me. Why do you think I'd do anything to help him? Because you are a weak creature of flesh. You do not have the merciless nature of a Metallix. To which Sonic concedes and hands over the device.
Jeez, that was a little bit of a roller coaster ride. He's just like, okay, look, he called his bluff. Fair enough, good. Well, the alpha device is surrendered. The Emperor leaves and throws Grimer back, declaring himself to be joining the Brotherhood on the Miracle Planet. And when we return, let all of Mobius beware. And Sonic is just like, man, these fucking villains and their exit speeches, blah, fucking hell, man. Grimer thanks Sonic for saving his life and says, yeah, well, we all make mistakes. Sonic suggests that they go after the Metallix now, but Grimer says, no, it's all too late now. With the Alpha device, the Metallix have already won. So that's that part of the story now done. That's a little bit of an up and down. Crazy, but let's move on with the story here. The Tails and Knuckles bit, kitching the art and writer. Tails and Knuckles are now cornered by the changed Errol, saying he was a fool to go into the land beyond, changed and made stronger by Trog. He swings his sword down, barely missing them, and Warper tells Knuckles that Errol's been possessed by these evil forces. Just leave him to our champion. And Knuckles just like, what are you talking? Y'all are crazy. What are you talking about? Tails
and he just goes for it. He just punches the shit out of him and says, fuck this fantasy bullshit. I'm over it, dog. Fuck it.
Upon seeing him and his actions, that's where they figure that he must be Tails' sidekick Sonic. And for the time being, Knuckles just kind of goes along with it. It's like, well, if everyone's saying it, it must be true. Knuckles takes direct hits from Errol, being empowered by the Dark One himself. A little asterisk there. Tails warning that he can't overpower him. Knuckles appreciates the vote of confidence, but he does have more up his sleeve. And in a 1-2 combo, Errol's knocked out clean cold. What do we do now? And then a little bit forward, Errol is left in a medieval headlock. These things haven't been used for years, but they should be strong enough. Problem solved there, but Warple wonders what are we going to do about the Enchanter Kings? They're still being held prisoner, but Knuckles tells him not to worry. Tails here, he's got a plan. We do? I mean, yeah, of course we do. And as they leave town, Tails asks Knuckles, why are you going along with them thinking you're Sonic and that you work for me? He's like, look, man, I don't want to embarrass you. And to be completely honest, I kind of like being in a place where nobody worships that little blue show-off. And I have to say here, folks, Knuckles is being real as fuck for this, for going along with all this.
He's just like, okay, I guess. He's just like, I just don't care at this point.
I mean, the way I see it, it's more just like Knuckles the Echidna. Fleetway Knuckles the Echidna is the epitome of staying in his lane.
He's just like, he sees what's going on around him, and he's just like, you know what? Sure, I guess this is what we're doing now.
Not my problem. This shit is not my deal. Well, Warple goes to the boys asking about what this plan is, and Tails first mentions writing we are going to write a strongly worded letter to Trog. Then Knuckles cuts him off. Nah, he's a jokester, this guy is. Look, the actual plan, we're going to go into the land beyond and get the kings back ourselves. Which Tails says, like, no, that was my plan B, actually, but okay. So the two are then brought to the connecting bridge and walk off together. And Tails asks if Knuckles is really sure about this. And he is, 100%. Besides, I'm with the hero of the Nameless Zone. Yeah, what could go wrong? Famous last words as always. But, yeah, that's that bit done. And with this last part of the story, again, Isles, Hadley, and Burns, this one I can just do real fast. Cam Burt arrive at Palm Tree Panic. They're going to take these bandits to relocate to Green Hill. But the bandits are like, nah, man, we like it here. Go fuck yourself. Burt beats the shit out of some of them with his hammers. Some of the bandits are under scrapped. And with no other objections seeing what they're capable of, they go peacefully into the Ark. They're all accounted for, they make for Green Hill, and as a rabbit nearby thinks Sonic ought to hear about this, Cam and Burt land in Green Hill, instantly releasing the badniks from Palm Tree Panic, and these badniks claim the zone as their own. The old badniks are like, nah, man, we were here first, like, go away. They do, like, some like, Doom inner fighting type bullshit, and Cam figures that since the Green Hill badniks are technically older, they can't really hold up against the Palm Tree Panic badniks. And now that they're all cleared out, Cam and Burt make their slip away, and the Palm Tree badniks celebrate their victory. Okay, yeah, that was done over right and quick. And that's issue 60 done.
That D story sure is
Yeah.
mid. But the A and C story were good. Let's go, because I think we're pretty into what's going on with the little planet. So I want to see how this pans out.
Issue 61, our first story, Kitching, Elson, and Burns. We open on the Freedom Fighters are climbing up the chain to the Miracle Planet, appearing only 3 days out of the month, so they say. And Sonic remembers the last time they were here, I was stuck here for a whole month. With Amy. And she reminds him, yeah, it was so romantic, wasn't it? Yeah, no, I probably should have just left you there, honestly. Till suddenly, Porker on his tablet gets a connection request. Sonic thinks it could be Robotnik. I gave him access to our channels. And the rest of the Freedom Fighters are shocked to hear this, but Sonic's like, no, stop. The Brotherhood's the bigger threat. We're all in danger, including Robotnik. This is just a temporary truce, okay? They pick up the receiver, and Robotnik asks why Grimer was sent back to him. He could be useful on the Miracle Planet. He knows the Brotherhood better than anybody. Sonic, though, says, my plan right here, top secret, not for anyone to snoop around on it. And if you don't mind, we're a little busy right now. And then on the other end of the chain, the Emperor relays to the Brotherhood that the Alpha device will be draining the Miracle Planet of its power, and soon, once reshaped to its image, we will all be invincible. To which, one of the drones detect intruders coming in, as the Freedom Fighters begin to enter the atmosphere of the Miracle Planet, landing right where the Brotherhood is gathered, actually. Johnny shows a little bit of worry, but Sonic reminds him, no, look. I was stuck here for a month, remember? I was able to get my bearings and look around. And he points a cave nearby the chain, which connects to a massive underground tunnel system. It runs for miles. And the Emperor orders the drone to go after the intruders. Nothing must be interrupted, given this critical stage. Freedom Fighters begin to trek through the tunnels. Sonic thinks that these tunnels can give him the advantage here, but Amy wonders why. I remember when you were here, you were lost for like 2 days. Well, that's kind of what I wanted you to think. You mean you were hiding from me? Oh, you bet I was. Johnny hears something coming for them, leading the Freedom Fighters to take cover behind a rock. And Sonic's a little disappointed that there was only one Metallix to handle, but he does have some ideas. The drone detects where they are, fires its chest cannon, and the Freedom Fighters eat the shot. Johnny decides to leap into action, staff at the ready to defend his friends, but the Metallix grabs his metal staff and snaps it in two with electricity crackling between the two parts. And then Johnny is beaten with one half of it, down on the ground, is about to have his skull caved in. Till Sonic pulls himself together, spin attack right in the chest. Dazed out, Sonic tells Amy to shoot the Metallix in the neck. Robotnik told me one of the weak points. And Amy fires the shot, it's downed. Unfortunately, we can't take out all the Metallix like this, but as usual, our boy Sonic, he's got the plan. But back on the surface, the Emperor fully charged the Alpha device now, plunges it into the ground, and now the surrounding area is starting to sprout and grow metal. Okay, so this one was a little bit of a setup part of the story, but what's this deal with this Alpha device? What do you mean it can grow metal? What's it doing, huh?
Oh, well, I mean, to me, it just sounds like it's gonna turn the little planet into the bad future version of it. That's my theory. That's where I'm going.
With that done, Story C, Kitching, of course, doing the work. So Knuckles and Tails are crossing the bridge to the land beyond. Not the greatest place to be, of course, but Tails notices someone's following them from a distance, and Knuckles thinks that maybe Errol escaped, but once they see the fog beginning to clear, it does seem like it's another fox. Branding a sword and armor, she introduces herself as Morin, Errol's sister, and demands to join their quest for her to take revenge for her brother. And Knuckles is like trying to talk her down from all this, but she's not going to listen to the supposed assistant from the hero of the Nameless Zone. And she insists she cannot be bested on the sword, and don't think I'll get in the way just because I'm a girl. Knuckles is like, okay, all right, I see you're a little sensitive here. But Tails takes their attention. We got company here. Damn, Knuckles a little misogynist, huh? What the hell, man?
Wow. I guess, I'm gonna say it. I'm going to reference the old scripture. Like father, like son. They
become swarmed by the gargoyles, Morin asking what the plan is. Besides the running and the hiding, no time for jokes, they're attacking. Knuckles leads the charge, thinking that there are only 5 of them attacking, so this shouldn't take too long. And Morin gives Sonic props for his fighting, but I thought that you were blue. Meanwhile, Trog, he's been spying on Tails since he arrived, with the kidnapped Enchanterkins thinking Trog has grown a bit, just a touch obsessive, if you'll put it.
I'm a big fan of the line that one of them says, which is, goes on a bit, doesn't he?
So yeah, Trog thinks, oh, you know nothing of vengeance, and you will understand soon enough. The moon is soon reaching its zenith. The time is almost here, and you, Enchanter Kings, will be changed into a superior form, just like me. Back at the fight, though, Morin asks Sonic, why do you serve Tails? You're clearly the stronger one here. But Knuckles is like, no. Tails is much tougher than he looks. But then Tails says, like, hey, guys, I think we gotta surrender here. Insulting Morin as she thinks that we have him on the ropes, but Tails points overhead. Are you, like, absolutely sure about that? And shows from above, massive army of gargoyles surrounding them. All right, things are kind of picking up a little bit.
It seems like they're kind of going through it. They are slowly making their way through this, bit by bit. All right, let's go to this D story.
Isles, Hadley, and Burns, again, do it fast as I can. So the Palm Tree Badniks have overtaken Green Hill, and the Barf crew go back to Palm Tree Panic. Speaking of, we see the Freedom Fighters. They're setting up a temporary base for whenever they go, and maybe they can chill out just to catch a ray or two. And on cue, Cam and Bert land near their spot, and it kind of pisses Sonic off. Cam and Bert see Sonic there. He thinks that he overtook Palm Tree Panic himself, and decide to take out this problem themselves. So they decide to go back to Green Hill, insisting that the Badniks need to go back to their original zone, but they're like, no, we like it here, fuck you. So Bert tries to reason with them by smashing one with his hammer, but Cam's like, no, look, stop. It's not worth it. We can go back to the development room, though. I have an idea. So they go to take some prototype parts to assemble a super Badnik to take Green Hill back themselves and return the Palm Tree Badniks. Bert does not necessarily feel comfortable messing with super Badniks, but Cam says, no, we can use this, tell the doctor to report, and, once he knows about Palm Tree Panic has been overtaken, he gives in. And sometime later, Cam finishes assembling these new Badniks. They're ready for deployment. All right, cool, man. Whatever you say. We got more important things to deal with right now. Sonic the Comic number 62, Kitching, Elsing, Burns, boom, boom, boom. Back on the Miracle Planet. The Alpha device is now growing in scope, basically roboticizing the Miracle Planet. The planet will soon be reborn in the image of the Brotherhood. And the Metallix drone returns to the group with the captured Freedom Fighters minus Porker. The Emperor gloats that now they are too late, just like that fool Dr. Robotnik, thinking that we could be content to serve him and his petty schemes. And the Alpha device will turn this world into a source of infinite power. More Metallixes will be built, and when ready, we will return to Mobius. But then the Emperor notices, 1, 2, 3. Hey, there's only 3 of you here. We detected 4. And the Metallix repeat that, saying it returned with the Freedom Fighters that they found. Okay, now something's really off here. Sonic makes a break for it with Amy and Johnny and shouts to Porker, do it. We see him behind a rock with a switch in hand. If this doesn't work, we're done for. Click. And now we got a full-page shot of a Metallix exploding. Kind of sick.
Yeah, it goes pretty hard. It's a huge explosion, too, as it takes out basically most, if not all, of the Metallixes around them.
So they celebrate the well-executed plan, but it's a little too early to celebrate. The device is still roboticizing the planet. And Sonic thinks maybe we should just yank the thing out, but if we do something wrong, the whole thing could go up and explode. There's a lot of energy flowing through this thing right now. And on top of it, it's booby-trapped. If we close down the wrong program, I don't want to even think about what happens here. So some time passes, and Porker is able to reverse the polarity and discharge the energy, making it harmless. But it's going to take a little bit of time. Unfortunately, it's time that we don't have, as they see Mobius in the sky beginning to fade. The Miracle Planet about to disappear. So Porker is just like, you know what? Give them the army salute. Sayonara, boys. I got to do what I got to do. Turns around and marches back to the Miracle Planet himself. I have no idea where our boy just decided to grow a spine, but respect. Massive respect.
Yeah, respect. He actually nutted up.
So Porker looks behind to see a surprising sight. It's the Emperor Metallix using the remainder of his power to reactivate the Alpha device. The Brotherhood will not be defeated. It's our destiny to rule, as he completely shuts off. So Porker rushes back to deactivate the device. Amy warns him the planet's about to fade away, but he's got to try. He's the only one who can do this. And Sonic checks back. It's too late. The planet disappears, but at least with the Emperor Metallix collapsing, Amy doesn't think Porker will be in any active danger. Though Sonic thinks, I feel like we haven't seen the end of the Metallix. It'll be a month before the planet reappears. We're just going to have to hope for the best, and we'll check in on Porker then. Okay, so that is sorta kinda the end asterisk of this arc. It's more like a break.
You'll see. Oh, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. They do some really cool shit with this. But yeah, I mean, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end.
You know, an asterisk end. More, like I said, we're kind of taking a break from this arc, which I think is kind of crazy to structure it like that. But okay, Kitching, I will let you cook. And speaking of cooking, well, the next story, see Kitching, of course, doing the writing and art. Knuckles, Tails, Morin shuffled into the castle, being brought into Trog. And he relishes having Tails here to witness the transformation of the Enchanter Kings. And Morin takes this that they're going to be turned like her brother was, to which she says, yeah, sure. In a way, her brother was easy, but for the kings, I'm gonna need a little bit of a hand. The moon approaches its zenith and will now be used to call upon the power of the Dark One, whose name is to never be spoken. We are this close. We are on the precipice of lore being dropped.
Yeah, they're gesturing to it lightly, but like also they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know what. All right, you know what? Let's take a breather. How do we feel about this fucking Enchanted Realm Foxlore shit? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not terrible, but it's definitely in that realm of like, damn, we need to give Tails something to do. Fuck it, give him his own cute little lore and backstory and a million different things.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like it in theory. I wish they would commit to it more. Like, here's the thing. If this was an Archie plotline, we would have had a lot more to dig into. Because right now, we're still, like, on surface level territory.
Part of me feels like, as the comic progresses, we're just gonna get an eventual, like, breaking point where, all these plot lines are gonna get dropped, and it's just gonna be one fucking central comic. We're going to drop all the B, C, and D stories, and we're just gonna get one central comic, dude. It's gonna be really funny.
Yeah, that's the good ending of all of this, but I digress. The light of the moon lands upon a black orb, and a horned demonic figure appears to pop out from it. And I'm not gonna lie here, Kitching's art kind of gives this, like, Aztec looking design. I kind of fuck with it. I kind of fuck with this Quetzalcoatl looking ass, alright?
I mean, he just looks like a Satan insert.
Yeah, but, like, I like the Aztec looking thing. I like it.
I mean, I don't think it's bad. I just am like, yeah, it's certainly an evil character.
So Knuckles sees everyone here has their eyes locked on this thing, which gives him the idea. Let's give him the slip around, free the kings, and lead them out through the tunnels we came in from. But as they do that, Trog sees them escaping and invokes the Dark One, go stop them. And it approaches them, Tails thinking, hey, maybe this otherworldly demon thing is not as strong as it says. But Knuckles is like, look, man, you want to take that taunt? You do that. I'm doing this right now, alright? The demon freezes Tails, Knuckles, and Morin in place. Trog saying that he will enact his revenge on Tails in time. But for now, we will let the Enchanter Kings take on a new form. They will embrace the dark side. You will let evil rule your lives. In short, you'll become just like me. And the kings are just like, boy, things sure have gone way too far. Man, you fucking think?
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah, and Trog's like, yeah, no. Yeah, this is only the beginning, folks. This is only the beginning. Story D, and I think this is like the last one for this. I don't know. But yeah, Isles, Hadley, and Burns once again. The 7 Super Badniks arrive at Green Hill. Cam directs them to corral the Badniks back into the pod. We need them all in one piece. The Motobud Super Badnik takes a direct laser fire from 3 Badniks, but it drives out of the fire unscathed, directs them all back into the Ark. So deed is done, 7 Badniks left to defend the zone for Robotnik, and then the 2 begin the trek back to the Miracle Planet, dropping off Badniks and alert them to Sonic's presence. And the Freedom Fighters see these returning Badniks, Sonic's right into action, scraps them with ease, and for Barf, now they gotta work overtime and clean all this stuff up, wondering how, I wonder how Sonic could have fared against the 7 Badniks that they made. Well, I don't care. Whatever, we're done here. Sorry for rushing that story, but like, the's not much to work off.
No, there's just nothing to talk about. I don't care. I mean, we'll have. I mean, look, let's just keep it moving. I want to keep going. Now, what I will say is that we have another new character introduction in our A story. And this one actually seems to have plot relevance.
Oh yeah, so Sonic the Comic number 63. Now it's Lou Stringer working with Elson this time. That's a rare shakeup. What do we got here? In Robotnik's lair, we see just him, the man's just throwing tomatoes at a picture of Sonic, swearing that one day he will get him. And Grimer appears overhearing him, saying that day may be sooner than you think, sir. To which he refers to Project Brutus. We need only one more ingredient that you will provide. Once they reach the lab, with Brutus, the ultimate trooper, almost ready to go, the only part left is to copy Robotnik's brainwaves. Straps on the helmet, let the process begin. And as it goes through, done, Brutus shoots up from his seat, and prematurely Robotnik declares victory and welcomes his new second-in-command, operating on his own brainwaves. And just like this, Brutus will be perfect for eliminating Sonic the Hedgehog. So, there's more to work off here. Let's just keep going. Sonic and the Freedom Fighters arrive in the Pleasant Zone in the caravan. Amy thinks she's never really been here before, but Sonic's like, nah. Me and the boys came through here a while ago. We saved the village from certain doom. It's as we do. And he takes advantage of the peace by, taking a jog, join the people who cheer for him. But there's one weasel guy who calls in, informing Robotnik's hotline that Sonic has been spotted here in the Pleasant Zone. The robot receptionist is about to inform Robotnik, but overstanding her was Brutus, saying, nah, I'll handle this. And folks, this is why we don't like narcs. This is why we don't like bootlickers.
Also, side note, I just realized why he's called Brutus. It's clear that he's taking matters into his own hands over his accomplice. Et tu, Brutus, etc.
And also, I should also, since we've already introduced him, I should say this. I believe I mentioned before how all of the original characters, or just overall, have some inspiration or even just direct homage to Marvel characters. Can you take a guess who Brutus is supposed to be an analog of?
T. Hanos?
Nope. You're close, though.
Galactus?
Dr. Doom.
Okay, I almost got it.
When I was reading this, I thought it was actually, he was supposed to be Magneto because of the helmet, but one of our patrons kindly said, no, he's Dr. Doom, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense, actually, yeah. So, a ship carrying troopers land in the Pleasant Zone with Sonic and the Freedom Fighters ready to fight. They demand Sonic's appearance, and he makes himself known, which y'all's asking for me. What do you want? And Brutus arrives, introducing himself as the commander of the elite troop force, and second in command only to Robotnik himself. Amy does wish that Tails and Porker were here right now, but Johnny's like, yeah, wherever they are, they're dealing with their own problems. Sonic begins to scrap the troopers all around, Amy and Johnny following suit, and Sonic leaps in to attack Brutus, but quite literally smacks him away. It feels like that this guy's a lot stronger than the average trooper, but is not going to give up the fight. And Brutus does relish in this moment. He won't get the chance this time and orders the remaining troopers to fire on the Freedom Fighters. That's the end of this first part. Brutus, we still have a lot more to see of him, but I will say this, very intriguing mix-up here.
Yeah. A bit of an interesting little mix-up we got. I like Brutus, and we're not going to really see why until later on, but I think that he's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, Kitching, this story C. Let's recap a little bit. This Goblino Trog summons El Chupacabra, sicks it on Tails, Knuckles, and Morin, and traps them to witness the transformation of the Enchanter Kings into goblins. So the Kings are begging for any semblance of good from Trog since he was once the third Enchanter King, but the appeals fall on deaf ears, and slowly the two Kings begin to transform. But in using all of its power, the suspended animation that the three of them are released in are done now. Now, Knuckles has an idea. That dark orb that the demon was summoned from. So let's do something with this. The Dark One finishes the transformation on the Enchanter Kings, saying they feel a lot more powerful now. Trog now to begin his reign of terror on the Nameless Zone, starting with our prisoners. Where'd they go? Trog notices also the Dark Orb is gone. We now skip to the Dimensional Bridge. Tails shows concern if Knuckles is wrong about your assumptions, but he thinks, no, this is our best chance. The orb probably is what Trog uses to control the Dark One. But, seems like that they have caught up. The Dark One tries to snatch the orb from Tails' hands, but Knuckles shouts at him that, like this, we're not going to be able to cross the bridge, just get rid of the orb. And Tails follows suit and punts the brick off the bridge. Morin kind of gives this exposition saying that, what we're over right here? Well, it's called the Dimensional Bridge because right now, we're above non-existent space. Whatever falls off here will just stop existing. And so As the orb falls, this kind of leads the Dark One's existence to just be canceled out and is sucked into the void. His own power is nullified, and the Enchanter Kings revert back to normal. But not Trog, though. His plans have been ruined and will destroy them all. Okay, insane twist. This whole time they could have just punted stuff into dead space. Crazy.
Wow. Incredible. Truly magical. He did it. He kicked the orb into the void, and they're cooked.
But we do still have a story to follow, and I think this one is like a bit more interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, they keep pushing, like, this fucking Cybernik shit. Like, is it too much to say that the Cybernik is really pushed in this comic? Like, really pushed? Like, they've been pushing this guy for God knows how many issues. He shows up so often.
He does show up pretty often, yes, but I don't mind him.
Yeah, I want to say that I don't mind him. I'm just pointing out that he's very pushed.
Yeah, he's very prevalent, but there is also something else that's going to start being pushed as well, but we gotta lay things out. Stringer, Flint, and Burns are creative team. The troopers here are being held hostage and are transporting Mobians to be roboticized. One of them quipping that this is not exactly the career we had in mind. This Mobian is about to be pistol whipped by a trooper until suddenly it takes a laser blast to the chest. The other troopers think it's the work of Sonic and the Rebels, but it's not Sonic. It's not the Outlaws. It was the work, of course, of the Cybernik. The troopers firing on the traitor, but they got that stormtrooper aim, and Short Fuse's takes them out easy. The one remaining, though, decides, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, and tackles Short Fuse while self-destructing. And the people are in horror from the sight. But in the fire, Cybernik is able to walk away mostly unscathed. Looks like Robotnik built me to last. And you know our boy thinks he was hard as fuck saying that.
Wow. Incredible. He really thinks he's him.
So he breaks the chains of the Mobians, and there's this green bird, canary actually. Who are you? The robots called you a traitor. And so Short Fuse recounts his backstory to her, ending with the fact he's forever trapped in this robotic shell. And this girl says, actually, I can help you with that, probably. I'm an engineer, top of the field. The name is Techno. So quick stop here. Techno is another one of the more famous characters to come from Fleetway Sonic, and I'm so... I don't know how to put this. I'm really weirded out the fact that she's introduced in this, like, back-end story. I figured she'd be more prevalent with how prevalent she become.
Wait a minute, she's like a core character?
Yeah, she's gonna be a core character. And that's just me, like, with the offhand knowledge I know about Sonic the comic.
That's so fucking weird. What the hell?
Yeah.
When I was reading this, I'm like, oh, she seems like a nice one-off character. Apparently not. I guess they were just like... sure, fuck it, make her a main character, I guess.
I mean, look at her design. I mean, she's like a green bird with like this bowl cut kind of thing with like her hair covering one eye. It's a decent design, but it's definitely a design that's supposed to have staying power. I feel like they definitely planned her to be a long-lasting character.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad design, man. I'm just like... huh, okay, sure, I guess.
Now, Short Fuse enlists her help, but not necessary to get him out of the shell. I need you to build a bomb. My next target, the Badnik factory in Chemical Plant. So, our boy Short Fuse has just enlisted her to do some terrorism. Sick, cool, and epic. So, meanwhile, Robotnik sulking over the fact that the Cybernik once again stopped his plans, and Grimer does have an idea to handle this. Why don't we utilize the artificial lifeform I created? The Shapeshifter. Ah, yes! Yes, she is perfect for the job, and decides to send out Metamorphia against Short Fuse. So okay, we're gonna now throw her into the mix. Fuck it, why not? We're balling here, I guess. I don't know, I feel like they just used Short Fuse to just kind of do their, like, whatever stories. I shouldn't say whatever stories, more like the stories that are on the edge of, like, I don't think this would necessarily work as a Sonic story, so let's just throw in Short Fuse.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel.
Which, again, not a bad thing per se. It's just kind of like one of those creative things. It's one of those things. Anyway, issue 64, Stringer and Elsing, our creative team for the first story. Sonic moves Johnny and Amy out of their range, and hides behind a house to just take a breath, and we plan now. So this Brutus guy, he does sound like Robotnik, even acts like him too, Amy thinks. Robotnik can't be in the armor, so he must be programmed to think and act like him. And Brutus chastises his useless army for letting Sonic get away, and takes matters into his own hands, activates infrared vision, and picks up Sonic's heat trail. Meanwhile, Robotnik asks his secretary to contact Brutus. I have a mission for you. However, she says Brutus is already out on a mission, which does surprise him. I didn't give him any orders. Robotnik comes in to check on her, saying that they got a tip that Sonic was in the Pleasant Zone, and Brutus went to handle it himself. And this angers Robotnik. He should be the one to know about Sonic's movements first. Get me in touch with Brutus now. When Brutus, though, finds the Freedom Fighters, Sonic's just like, oh man, I was getting bored of hiding anyway, whatever. The Freedom Fighters leap to fight head-on, and Sonic barrels his way through the weaker troopers, but can't do much against Brutus, so has to get creative. Whirlwind in place, grabs Brutus's cape, and spins him like a fucking Beyblade.
Wow, he really got that top spin on him.
He spins into a brick wall and collapses on top of him, but he's by no means out. And that's where he gets the transmission from Robotnik and decides to ignore it. But all the other troopers detect the call coming in, and Brutus says, ignore it. It's a faulty transmission. So Sonic gives the order to just break up and target Brutus from all sides until Amy is suddenly grabbed. Now her life is on the line here. Brutus is about to gloat over his victory until Robotnik forces his way into a transmission, demanding to know first, why was my signal ignored? And Brutus says, I'm about to capture Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm moments away from his execution. Brian's just like, oh, okay, well, good on capturing him, but I want him alive. Bring him to me. And Brutus tells Sonic, it appears you've won a reprieve. Robotnik wants you alive. And Sonic's just like, yeah, I know. The guy's always had a soft spot for me. And Brutus shouts, put them all in chains. Let's get them transported. I may have had a copy of Robotnik's mind, but I've done what he couldn't, which is to defeat Sonic the Hedgehog. All right, our boy kind of taking a gloat, a little bit of a victory lap, but we'll have to come back to this, and I believe this next bit. Oh boy, the tail stuff is just so bizarre, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like, what are they doing here?
I mean, look, do I dislike it? No. Do I like it? Yeah, absolutely. Would I want more of it? Yes. I would like them to go a bit more in depth with it, though, because I'm not gonna lie, it kind of starts to feel like the stories are all the same. You know?
This is the problem with all the Tales material in IDW. In STC, just constant.
At the same time, I feel like in saying I want to go in depth for, I feel like I'm wishing on the monkey's paw for that, because I can very well see where this goes. I very well can see.
Yeah, are you ready for like 10 issues of lore about like the Enchanted Realm? The foxes, the Trog.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking wake up. We're gonna see Tails' eyes glowing like he's the fucking Avatar, man. I'm not ready for that.
Oh, let's not go there.
I'm not ready for that. Well, Kitching, of course, the creative writer and artist. So Trog, he dives towards the group. Knuckles intercepts, and they're on even grounds for this fight. And Tails tells Morin you need to go help Knuckles, though she thought his assistant was named Sonic. We have no time to explain. We gotta help him. Knuckles gives the 1-2 combo the right hook and causes Trog to stumble over and trip over the rope. Knuckles didn't mean for it to go that far, but when Trog slips and falls into the void, I kinda guess that's the last we'll see of him. They all cross the bridge over, Warple on the other side welcoming them back, Tails telling everyone, yeah, no, I sure had a lot of help in this quest, and Warple gives credit to his assistant, Sonic. Yep, that's me. Tails' little helper. Big smile, big smile. But Morin, again, why did you call him Knuckles? Until her brother comes back around, having turned back to normal. All I really remember is waking up in the village square, and Tails assures him, the Dark One's gone, the spell was broken, we're all good here. Although again, Morin reiterates, why did you call him Knuckles? She's really on this. Like, Jesus, just let it go, man. Sometimes you just gotta let some things go.
Nah, she's just like, this motherfucker's a liar. This bitch is a liar. Liar.
Her fraud detector, on point. I will give her that.
Off the charts.
They hear a growl coming from behind. From Trog, of all people. Grabbed onto the rope at the last second and climbs back up for his final revenge until something does start to happen here. And Trog ends up reverting back to his original form of the third Enchanter King. It just took a little longer for the spell to wear off. So now, the three kings are back in power. They open the portal and send Tails and Knuckles back to Mobius. And Morin still not letting the Knuckles thing go. But I guess it doesn't matter because that's the end of this little saga here. Like we said, it's whatever. It feels a little samey at this point. Kitching, will you nut up with this? Are you gonna go balls deep into what you could do with this?
No.
Our D story, Stringer, Flint, and Burns. Short fuse. He flies Techno back to her workshop, pulls a lever described as a tree branch to open the door in. So Techno tells Short Fuse, yeah, I used to work for Robotnik as an engineer, but, I kind of was like taking some stuff up the top, taking some stuff from my own stuff, which is, kind of why Robotnik, found out about that whole thing, and then I was going to be roboticized, so thanks for saving me, man. So, with all this equipment, can you help me out? Oh, yeah. Just don't expect a masterpiece, but I guess whoever expected a bomb to last, And hey, while I'm at it, I could probably improve your armor as well. But Shortfuse is like, no, could you? I was encased with this new kind of metal. No one can replicate it. But she's like, nah, I can. You know why? Because this is a super alloy called Megatol, and I made it. That's an insane lore drop for the record.
Megatol, dude, what a name. I don't know if it's cool or not, but it's a name.
Yeah, she's gonna come back and make the third piece Gigatol. Crazy.
Whoa, dude.
3 days pass. Robotnik detects that both Shortfuse and the outlaw Canary Techno have entered the chemical plant zone and send Metamorphia to counter him. And there, Shortfuse sports his new armor, and in the words of a certain cool hedgehog I once met, cool dude. And now Techno says, oh really? You met Sonic, huh? Impressive. She comes across some badniks in the sky, which Shortfuse will come down as Techno sets up the bomb. And for the record, I feel like I should point this out. She is a canary, so she is flying of her own accord, which she doesn't look like she should be able to do, for the record. Her design is too humanoid.
Yeah, she's a little too real.
Yeah.
A little too real, just a little.
So Shortfuse took out the badniks. She set up the bomb. It's going to detonate in 5 minutes until suddenly Shortfuse is shot down from the sky by Metamorphia, takes on her current form to take Shortfuse out, although Techno does warn him, we got to clean this out fast. In about 4 minutes, the whole plant is going to explode. End of that issue. All right, at least it's a cool send-off for next time. Respect.
Yeah, at least. All right, let's go to issue 65.
Stringer and Elson, our team. So, before Brutus brings Sonic back, he decides to do a little bit of some sicko shit and is parading the freedom fighters around the Pleasant Zone, with the citizens despairing that they may as well surrender to Robotnik now with Sonic prisoner. But Sonic's like, nah man, don't write me off just yet. And Brutus tells Sonic off, even you should know when you're beat. Oh yeah, we'll see about that, fang face. And Brutus is about to smack the shit out of Sonic until Robotnik comes in and picks up quickly. Where are the prisoners? I told you to bring them to me. And Brutus is like, well, Doctor, I decided to parade them through town to glorify their defeat. Robotnik's like, dude, when I give you an order, you follow it. Bring them to the fucking Citadel, for fuck's sake.
He's like, nah, I'm just gonna fuck around a little bit more. Damn, he really does have Robotnik's brain.
He really does. And Brutus mutters that Robotnik is just jealous of his victory. As a trooper reminds him, Robotnik gets very nasty when he's upset, but Brutus smacks the trooper away. Yeah, and I'm not the only one. The trooper is down, and actually, his gun knocked near Amy. Sonic points it out, and she grabs it, and she fires on Brutus instantly, with the three of them in a chain gang have to run in sync. The troopers can't chase after them, but Brutus is like, what are you doing? Go capture the outlaws! And Sonic feels a little hindered with Amy and Johnny chained to him, but Amy does have an idea and uses the gun to blast the chain links off, so hold still. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the chance, as the freedom fighters are now taking fire from the troopers, and Sonic has to make a break for the bridge. And they just barely make across with the troopers firing aimlessly at them and destroy the bridge in the process. And so Sonic does declare his victory over Brutus. You can't reach us now, blah, blah, blah. But Brutus is like, nah, and suddenly begins to fucking float.
Oh, okay. He just casually T-poses and floats.
No, he really is T-posing. Like, where'd this, Okay, I'm not questioning it. So yeah, Brutus says before he was programmed for this, he worked in the SBS before being fitted into the current mold. And my systems have an anti-gravity field, and I can fly to chase you.
It's the stupidest shit of all time, bro. What are they cooking?
Respect. Sonic trips over himself as he runs. The Freedom Fighters now just can't coordinate running like this. And Brutus declares, I will ignore Robotnik's order, and I will kill you right here, right now. And of course, Sonic does not want things to end like this, and he lets his anger get the better of him, and ends up transforming into Super Sonic, breaks the chains, and flies towards Brutus, hence saying Sonic losing his cool may be his biggest mistake.
Well, there goes Super Sonic, killing motherfuckers again. I hope you guys are excited for some, Echidna lore!
To whichever god I angered, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this comic has Echidna lore.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, let's be honest, we should have expected it, but folks, let's take a step back here. Let's remove all context from our heads. What kind of Echidna lore do we have here? Because, well,
I can certainly see where some characters came from in Archie after reading this comic.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So, Kitching is the writer, and Dobbin is our artist. Knuckles, our boy Knuckles, taking a little stroll around the Emerald Chamber. He's looking around and thinking to himself, could it ever be like it was in the old days? But for now, no time to rest, because Knuckles, he's had a big past couple of days now. But suddenly, an alarm blares. Again, Knuckles wonders if there is a flux in the force field, or maybe an intruder, or could just be dust just getting into the console or something. And Knuckles takes a zoom tube to the source of the alarm, the old Megapolis City, the former capital of the Echidnas. No.
Here we go. Rev up those fryers.
Knuckles hears some shuffling nearby, and there's a robot excavating some ruins. What's this thing doing here? Until it opens fire, and Knuckles has to take cover. So much for the polite approach. And Knuckles goes in for the direct, but its armor is too much for Knuckles to break and is swatted away. So Knuckles has to go in for a different move, cracks the ground below to let the robot fall. Why is it so interested in this rubble though? Until suddenly, a voice comes in from below. The robot was probably going after me. And then this figure digs up and approaches Knuckles saying, I was hiding from the robot. And Knuckles is like a little surprised to see who he's talking to. Santa Maria. Deep breath, guys. Deep breath.
Breathe.
Knuckles meets an individual. His name is Dr. Zachary. He is the first Echidna to return to the floating island and brandishing pure white fur.
Okay. This motherfucker looks exactly like Finitivis if he was in a classic design. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question here. Did they know? Did they know?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. There's no way you can take this design in this context and be like, albino white echidna named Doctor. I wonder. No, they knew. This goes without saying. They knew. They had to have known. There's no way they couldn't have. I really sincerely do not think anything less than they completely knew about this. They knew about this shit, and they were just like, fuck it, nobody will ever question it.
So I'm just gonna ask the question here. No, not even. I'm gonna just make an analogy, actually. Carl Bowlers. I'm gonna point back to, I believe, the infamous issue 134, I believe. The slap issue, okay?
Okay.
That's not the point, though. In the crowd scene, Amy directly has with her two characters from Fleetway. One of them is Techno. Another is a character we have not met yet. So I'm gonna hold off on saying who it is.
Okay. Then yes.
Carl Bowlers. This is a direct accusation. No,
he knew, man. He knew. There's a reason that Finitivis' role in the story was probably very similar at first glance to Zachary. All I'm saying, man, literally all I am saying It's all I'm saying, man. It's just right in front of you, bro.
It is. So look, I want to just continue on here. Keep that in the back of your head. Carl Bowlers absolutely knew what he was doing. So story D, Stringer, Flint, and Burns. Short Fuse is thrown into the steel beams. 4 minutes left on the bomb, so he's going to make this quick. Metamorphia tries to use the gas trick on him, but he's a robot, can't breathe. That's a no-no. So he takes a hit from Metamorphia's hand axe, and the axe breaks. He's made of the hardest metal on Mobius. He opens fire on her, pushing her down to a vat of acid. Yeah, okay, so that's over and done with. Short Fuse and Techno try to make their escape until Metamorphia again makes herself known, having transformed into this tentacle beast monster. I do have to say, though, this is like 80% looks like Perfect Chaos. Am I crazy?
I'm gonna give you like a 40, not even a 50. I'm gonna give you a 40% accuracy rating. Because I can kind of see it, but like at the same time, nah, there's no way they would have come up with the design off of Fleetway.
No. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying, like, I'm just seeing with my eyes, you know? I am seeing with my eyes. As we continue. Yeah, they're wrapping it up. Moments away from being dragged into the water to be drowned. Short Fuse using his jet boots to blow hot air into Metamorphia's face. 15 seconds left on the bomb. Flying away, Short Fuse takes a shot from the back and is downed next to the bomb, and Techno held hostage by Metamorphia to be taken to Robotnik. The bomb goes off, the entire factory going underwater. Short Fuse still intact, but held down by the scrap metal, weighing him down, and now he's sinking even faster. Okay. All right, that's a good place to stop that bit.
Yeah, at least there's sort of an energy going on here, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess we're gonna close it out with our final issue, where we end up finishing off the Project Brutus story. We're gonna get maybe some more closure on this Knuckles shit, maybe Echidna lore, and we'll see what happens with Short Fuse in issue 66.
So our first story, Stringer and Elson once again. Johnny, he's in awe seeing Supersonic fight Brutus, but Amy reminds him, yeah, remember, Sonic's not in control of himself when he's like this. And Supersonic charges right into Brutus's chest, knocking him off center gravity, crashing into a pole. And Brutus returns back to where Johnny and Amy are, knocking Johnny away and taking Amy hostage, thinking he won't attack while he's holding her. But no, he's very, very wrong and crashes into his body, and Amy is in free fall. To which Supersonic, rips off Brutus's right arm, doing one last-ditch effort, leading Supersonic back to the Trooper Battalion and lets them open fire on him. But he's dodging all the laser fire, our boy's untouchable, rebounds off the troopers, turning into scrap by his touch. And Johnny is just like, look, I'm about to say what we're all thinking, folks. He's saying, Supersonic is, much more effective compared to regular Sonic, right? And Amy's like, I prefer his laid-back attitude, man. Which, look, that's a little bit of a surprising thought from our boy Johnny. I kind of do wonder more about, Johnny, because we don't really know that much about him.
Maybe we'll get more about him. Him and Porker, unfortunately, have kind of been relegated to a Sonic fanboy status, and they don't really get to do much, which kind of sucks, because I kind of like Johnny. Porker, he's just kind of there.
Yeah, no, they're not bad characters. I just want more from him. And especially this moment where he's like, wow, Supersonic is, If he has the thought that it's no, maybe it is worth it to let Sonic just go ballistic and we'll deal with the consequences later. That's what I want to know more about.
Same.
Brutus goes to a shuttle intended to transport the Freedom Fighters and tells them, never you all mind, just get the foam cannon ready. And Supersonic is in direct path towards that tanker and takes a direct hit from the foam cannon. It hardens, drops like a rock. The two troopers pick the hard foam up, but Supersonic is easily able to get out of there. And Brutus is just like, okay, you know what? No, enough of this. We're retreating. We're going to go back to Metropolis, and we'll come up with a real plan to defeat Sonic. And as he leaves, thankfully on time, that's where Supersonic loses his energy and reverts back to normal. So as he's getting his bearings, oh, wow, I sure did a lot of damage to these troopers, huh? Oh, cool. And looks on the other side, that's where Amy and Johnny are. But thankfully, he's able to make a jump like that no problem. And lands on the other side. Freedom Fighters all breathe a sigh of relief that Brutus left. And Sonic thinks, I'll be saving myself. Sonic thinks he'll be saving himself for another rainy day. Then, back at the Citadel, Robotnik paces around Grimer's lab, wondering where Brutus went, and he finally arrives having to do repair work on his body. And Robotnik chastises Brutus for failing his first mission, on top of you disobeying me when I ordered you to return Sonic when you captured him. But Brutus does remind him, well, I was given a copy of your brainwaves, Doctor. Considering the circumstances, I literally just did what you would have done. And Robotnik does not like that answer, but he lets it slide.
He's just like, okay.
Just like, fuck, okay, whatever. But, Brutus, remember this. You are just a robot. So get out there and work on a new plan of attack. And Brutus leaves, thinking, well, I was made a total copy of your brainwaves, Doctor. Meaning I desired your I inherited your desire for world conquest. One day I will take control, and I will be the ruler of Planet Mobius myself. That's the end of this story. So now we have the Freedom Fighters, Robotnik, the Brotherhood, and now a bonus fourth faction in Brutus. Insane.
Damn, what are they cooking? Why are there so many factions? Holy shit.
And on top of that, let's recount this. Between Brutus, the Metallix, and Short Fuse, Robotnik is 3 for 3 on making his own problems.
This is seemingly the norm for him now.
I wonder if he'll ever think about that himself. Probably never. Regardless, let's continue on with our Knuckles story again, Kitching and Dobbin. So Knuckles is kind of giving this walking red flag named Dr. Zachary a tour of his facilities, including the Chaos Emerald Chamber, as Zachary comments, and here I thought the Chaos Emeralds were mere legends, and here they are. All that power contained in these 7 ancient crystals. A very normal thing to say, in my opinion.
Yes, so normal. Very normal. Most normal reaction.
Knuckles says that their pure energy is what keeps the island in the sky. Without them, we'd crash on the surface of Mobius. And Knuckles, he's got so many questions for Zachary. Why did the Echidnas leave? Why was I left behind? When do they plan on returning? And Zachary says, Knuckles, my friend, there is much to tell you. There is, but I need rest, man. I've been in hiding for that robot for days now, and it's never been more close to catching me than now. And Knuckles assures him that robot has been taken care of, but Zachary's not so sure. That robot is indestructible, and it seems to be able to track me, and it won't rest until I've been captured. But time passes. That night, Knuckles is a little sleepless. I know for sure I've seen this robot before, and he's digging around some ancient blueprints, and he finds the exact design of it. This is an Echidna mech, but why is it something that we built would be attacking one of our own? I think I should let the doctor see this right away. Until that robot crashes through the wall in what I can only describe as Kool-Aid Man style.
Yeah, he just bursts through like nothing.
Zachary hears the noise, shocked that the robot found him, and Knuckles shouts for him to run, but he's frozen in fear, and with the distraction, the robot knocks Knuckles over the head. He's out cold, and Zachary helps Knuckles wake up, saying that the robot turned away from him at the last second and went into that room, which Knuckles sees that's the Chaos Emerald Chamber, and they feel a quake around them. They go into the room. The robot has removed the Master Emerald and is snapping it in half. Crazy way to end off on this episode. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I guess we'll figure out what's going on soon.
We'll get back to the story in the next episode. And but, what's up with this last bit? Stringer, Flint, and Burns, Metamorphia, brings Techno back to Robotnik and recounts to the doctor how the Cybernik was defeated. She morphed into an armored warrior, then a tentacle beast, and yet what got him down was the bomb that he planted himself. Who would have thought? And then Robotnik grabs Metamorphia in a panic. Wait, what the fuck? What bomb? What are you talking about? The bomb that blew up the factory in the chemical plant zone. And Robotnik, top of his lungs, just screams, "What?"
My guy is so mad that he has the black hole forming out of his mouth.
Meanwhile, Short Fuse, pinned at the bottom of the water, several pounds of scrap metal on top of that, and his armor's oxygen supply is running out. I can't use my arm blasters, maybe the jet boots, and he uses them to dig a trench and is able to wiggle his way out to freedom. And once he's back up the surface, no sign of Metamorphia, so she probably took Techno to Robotnik. And he feels guilty that he got her involved, so I gotta rescue her. And since Robotnik thinks he's dead, let's hope he likes surprises. In Grimer's lab, Robotnik orders Metamorphia to be stripped of her shape-shifting powers. Grimer throws the switch and walks her down. and Robotnik then orders her to be roboticized. That alone is crazy enough, because that just kind of happens, until troopers come in saying, Robotnik, sir, the Citadel is under attack by the Cybernik.
My guy is just rolling up like it's nothing.
So insane pull. An insane pull here. And that's honestly crazy way for us to end our stories today, because now we got 2 cliffhangers that we're going to have to resolve next time. So, who is this, well, I mean, I guess it's more Dr. Finitibus is the Dr. Zachary asks, considering he came first.
I mean, I told you, man. It's blatant. We'll see what happens with him, but I mean, it's pretty obvious he's evil. Like, yeah. I don't think this is like a thing.
As for the Metamorphia stuff, though, I mean, I guess it does follow the story along beforehand that Robotnik does not care for her, seemingly. But yeah, honestly, like, look, were some of the stories a little mixed? Yeah, the A stories, magnifique, no notes, love it. The C and D stories, some of them did leave some stuff to be desired. Nigel Kitching, I dare you. I dare you to nut up with the tail stuff. You won't do it, and I know you're not going to do it, but it'd be really funny.
But listen, it'd be hysterical if he did, and it would give us a lot of content.
Oh my god, yeah. And the Knuckles stuff, I mean, look, let's be honest here. There really wasn't a lot to work off of with Knuckles, like, in this era of Sonic. So I understand, like, you gotta do Echidna lore to expand on this, and all stuff back at the time pointed to the Echidnas as being some sort of weird ancient civilization that left behind a lot of stuff. So look, I get it. It's natural to want to dig into that stuff. I will commend Nigel Kitching for showing restraint in this situation.
I don't think I will. I just want to say, you either go whole hog or you go no hog. You can't go half and half, bro. Either make the most schizo shit you possibly can, or just don't even do it at all.
I mean, at this point, I kind of also agree with that. Because look, we know what happens when you go full schizo. You get a comic canceled when you go full schizo.
I mean, that's the understatement of the fucking century.
Yeah, you're telling me. But yeah, that is the end of this episode of Fleetway Sonic. Pretty good stuff. And folks, what do we have next time? Well, of course, we're going to see a continuation of the Metallix story. It's going to be a banger. Of course, we're going to continue the Cybernik stuff. And of course, the Echidna lore. Folks, I'm not leaving you out to dry here. The last episode, really good. This episode, we're peering off into peak territory a little bit. Next, I promise you folks, Kino. I promise you.
We have some really, really, really good shit coming up. So get excited. We will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care.
But before we go, I got to do some shout outs. So we got some new patrons joining us. It's been a little bit of a while. So guys, I want us to shout out Elijah coming in at $2 a month and Near at $5 a month. Welcome guys to Behind the Paywall. Hope you guys are enjoying that content.
Indeed. Enjoy yourselves, for we have many more content on the way.
Yes. So, $2 a month at patreon.com/SonicSpeed. You get our episodes early and bonus content where we've been reacting to the Sonic TV shows. Coming up next on the Patreon, folks, it's the big one that we've been putting off for a while. The OVA reaction. And I'm very, very excited to do that.
And then after is where the real madness begins, because we're diving into Sonic X.
And it's going to be a full hog.
Whole hog. We are not skimping a single episode, and we are not watching the dub. We are watching the sub.
Yes. To our higher tier patrons, more news on that later when we get to it. But yes, $2 a month, that's all that. $5 a month, you get that and our pre-shows. They've been getting real extensive, real spicy. Trust me, folks, we get some hot takes. We get spicy on the pre-show. You don't want to miss that. $15 a month, all that, and a video version of the podcasts. So, folks, as always, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for enjoying. Subscribe, hit like, comment, do whatever you want. We are out. We'll see you next time for the Kino der Torten of Sonic the Comic, folks.
Peace.